The hell are you supposed to be? I'm vengeance.
Sorry for the little 2 or 3 minute delay there. I was looking up something. I wasn't really paying attention. I'm sorry about that, guys. If you're here in the chat, sorry about the little bit 3 minute delay. There was no reason for me to be delayed, really. Once again, in advance, I apologize. Okay. I apologize for that. Okay, guys, what's up? Hope you have a Sunday evening, wherever you are. A Sunday evening for me, November. I know in the States you're on the verge of Thanksgiving. Thursday and Friday is Thanksgiving, so long weekend for you Americans are up. Where I am, Thanksgiving was in October, but still we kind of celebrate Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Things go on sale. I'm looking up stuff online to see if I could buy from Black Friday. But that's in the future. Also, man, I got up at 8 a.m. and the reason why I got up at 8 a.m. it's crazy. My Toronto Maple Leafs are playing in Stockholm, Sweden, and the hours there is like 3 or 4 p.m. from 8 to there. So it was like a big time difference. And yeah, 8 a.m. I got up, which is very weird for a hockey game. So I was really, really tired in the afternoon. Oh, man. But yeah, so let's talk pop. Typing something right now. This is episode 56 of Let's Talk Pop, and this is going to be this episode is going to, well, going forward now, since the strikes are over, if we're going to go more with these episodes, we're going to go more newsworthy items, because there's going to be more bigger news coming out in the world of entertainment since the strikes are over. Now we could get some interviews, interviews, promotions, whatever to get. More stuff will come out we could talk about, and there's going to be a lot more breaking stuff. A lot more breaking stuff to come out. Also, stuff like that. We're going to go back into that. I said there's no spoiler stream today. There's nothing for me to spoil today. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the topics and description and on the video. Well, okay. Now I did not see Hunger Games, the prequel Song of Ballad. Okay, I did not see it. Later on, if I'm still on, George, George, my friend George. I think I'll let him on. Definitely I'll let him on. He's tell me his thoughts because he did see it. So when he's available, I'll let him give out his review. And it's going to be non-spoiler. Spoiler. Okay. So yeah, when George just comes on, he says 8 o'clock. I think I might still be on by 8 o'clock. Who knows? Maybe I'll do the main topic at the end. Okay. So yeah, when he comes on, I'll let him talk about his thoughts of the movie live on air. And then we'll talk about the box office, worldwide box office. Obviously, this is only 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So tomorrow we'll find out the opening weekend worldwide box office. So, okay. All right, guys. All right. All right. So we'll do the title at the end. Then the House of Ballad, the Hunger Games. We'll do Dune Part Two first, and we'll go description. Hey, Blinded. Hey, Degrassi. Um, what's up, Degrassi? Yeah. Oh, Willie. I didn't watch it. I don't watch SNL anymore. Um, I don't find SNL as fun anymore. But okay. Part two of Dune. Dune Part Two. Supposed to come out this month, right? Supposed to come out this month. Obviously. Supposed to come out this month. Just okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay. Okay, so Dune Part Two was originally supposed to come out this month. The reason why it got pushed in March, right? I'm glad you're all. I'm glad you're all here, guys. The reason it got pushed in March is because of the strikes, right? And they wanted to promote this movie, right? This is the Warner Brothers movie. The way they promoted Barbie, the way they really promoted Barbie, Warner Brothers, and everybody else. I think they wanted to do the same thing for Dune. I think they wanted Dune because let's look at the Warner Brothers box office besides Barbie. Okay, not successful, right? Not didn't make a lot of money overall. The DC movies, DC didn't do well. Creed, I think, was Warner Brothers. It did okay. I'm probably forgetting other Warner Brothers movies, but Barbie is the only one that did really great. And I think they wanted Dune to be the big blockbuster. They wanted Dune to be the one, the other movie to be to be successful, right? Because all the other stuff besides Barbie was hugely successful. Hugely successful, and the word of mouth and the hype, the over exposure of that movie. Tight. Wow, like how long does it take, Degrassi? How long does it take to get this passed? I'm curious, but I think Dune. Their intentions for Dune to be and what to promote the hell out of it. I think that's the one of the movies that pretend to promote, even with the strikes and a half being to promote the hell of it because they know how successful Dune Part One was. Yes, it was. Yes, Dune. The first Dune was both theater and Max, right? Stream and theater release same day, right? Yes, it did. It did successfully. It did well for being coming out on stream on the same day on Max. I would say that, and that movie was highly praised. It was highly praised, right? That movie was highly praised, and people were hyped for Dune 2, right? And Warner Bros. Knows that. They know that. So I obviously it does need more buzz. That's why I think they're pushing it back, Blinded. That's why I think they pushed it back so they could generate more buzz for it for March. Because if there was no strikes, they'd be generating a lot of buzz for it. A lot of buzz. There would be a lot of buzz for it if it was still a November release. Yeah, I think. Okay. So, right, they know they have something with Dune. They know they had something with the first Dune. They know they have something with the second Dune, and obviously this movie is their since the DC is in a bit of a since DC is in a bit of a reset, I guess you could say. Aquaman 2 is officially the last DCU movie. Jason Momoa confirmed it. Oh, okay. 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks to Grassy. Aquaman. Jason Momoa kind of confirmed that Aquaman 2 is the last DCU movie. People are misrepresenting that. People are thinking that it's the last time he's playing Aquaman. That's not what he said. He said it's the last DCU movie before James Gunn and Safran's universe takes over. Doesn't mean it's not playing Aquaman. Think of it this way. Think of it this way, guys. This is actually. I'll get back to Dune. Marvel, right? Charlie Cox and Kingpin are entering the MCU, but they were in the Netflix universe, right? Not entering the MCU. You could do the same thing with Jason Momoa here. He can still play Aquaman in the new DCU. You can still do that. You could do it. So, yeah, I don't know why there's people thinking he's done. He's done. Yes. Yes, yes, Degrassi. I know I'm very aware of that. Maybe Toronto will get one. I don't know. Exactly. They can do something like that. They'll find a way. You got to remember, DC and Marvel have multiple universes, right? Okay, so back to Dune. As you saw in the chat, I did say here, Dune is being moved up to March 1st of 2024. So 2024. Oh, that's true, dude. That's true, Anthony. So March of 2024. Oh yeah, the market has to be scarce. I'll probably buy it. The problem with Aquaman is a lot of movies in that month too, and so yeah, Dune is going to come out in March. Let's look at the March schedule for movies because Anthony is right. There is a kind of a saturated month of movies. Let's kind of see March 2024 movies. Okay, I don't want this is. I'll read it briefly. Okay, we'll check March. So we got Dune Part 2 as a Friday. Part 2 is a Friday. Yeah, that comes out. March 8th, you got Imaginary, Rayman's big movie. Not the video game Rayman, not the character from Rayman, the video game. March 15th, you got is June Zero, Karaoke on the Amendment. March 22, you got Arthur the King, One Life, and Me. March 29th, you got Ghostbusters, Kung Fu Panda, and Mickey 17. Dune I don't think has anything to worry about in March, really, in my opinion. If it's gonna be the most hyped movie of the first 3 months of 2024 Dune. I don't think there's anything for Dune to worry about in March in terms of money, box office. I don't think there's anything they have to worry about. I know Ghostbusters is a big movie, but Ghostbusters and Kung Fu Panda, but Ghostbusters comes after March, right? Comes basically at the end of March, beginning of April. Same with Kung Fu Panda. So I would Dune Warner Brothers. I don't think they have to worry about March. I think Dune is going to make cash. It's going to make a lot of dough, and it's going to be safe in March. Okay, I think it's going to be fine in March. In April, you really don't have a strong month too. First Man, Godzilla vs. Kong New Empire that comes out in March, right? Rebel Moon comes out in April, but that's gonna be Rebel Moon Part Two, by the way, Netflix. Maybe select theaters, but that's no competition. So Dune, I think Dune is gonna be fine. It's gonna make the most money in the first 4 months of 2024. It's gonna be the biggest box office in the first 4 months of 2024. That's my hot take. Dune is gonna make the most box office in 2024. Okay, that's my hot take. Okay, that's my hot take. You heard it here. And if it's not true, if it's by end of April, if Dune's not the biggest box office draw, you call me out on it, and I'll admit defeat. But it is gonna be my hot take that Dune is gonna make the most money in the first 4 months of 2024. It ain't gonna be Madam Reb, I can tell you that. Madam Reb's not gonna make anywhere close to Dune. How Dune might be. There's a good chance Dune might be one of the top box office movies of 2024 in general. I think there's a realistic chance, a possibility, Dune can hit $1 billion. Yes, that's another hot take. There's a chance it can hit $1 billion. Only two people believe. Only one person. Some people believe me, but there's only one person really believe me, that agreed with me, that Barbie's gonna hit $1 billion, and he's in the chat, and that's Degrassi. It's Degrassi. So I'm saying with Dune, there's a chance. There's a chance. Oh, Madam Rebel flop. Yes. $800 million is still good, though, right? Like, I knew it's gonna make a lot of money. Okay, and I believe Dune right now, they're making plans for theaters right now, like 3 or 4 months ahead. So Dune Part Two will play in IMAX 7 millimeters, right? So yeah, Jason Momoa's character is in. Jason Momoa is returning. Yeah. Yeah. See, next year next year I'm looking at the movies list. I'm not sure I'm not sure which movie is it guaranteed $1 billion. I know Billion should really be Billion is kind of I want you know what? We should really set a goal for $1 billion for every movie for movies, really. I think that's not a realistic goal in my opinion. In my opinion, it's not a realistic goal. Really? Yeah. So, yeah, see, 402 million, 165 million budget. I'm not looking at the budget, but I'm looking at the 402 million, and that's with day and day, right? With streaming, right? It came out and say that's when people still, even the theaters are open, but there's still people staying home to watch movies. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good when day and day release. I really don't. Degrassi. I really don't hope. I really hope it's. I don't know if they want to do the story you DM me about. If that's the plan, I really don't know. That's the direction they should go. Hey, Arkham. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Reportedly. Alright, Dune be crushing this month. Let's be honest. If Dune came out this month, I think even though with no promotion, I still think Dune would make the most money this month. I still think it would have killed the Marvels, Hunger Games, Napoleon, whatever movies come out this month. I think it will still make the most money this month. Now the question is, without promotion, would it made? Yes, they should. Yes, they should shot the movies back to back. So yeah, okay. Dune 2 possibly can, yeah. You know what? Some films do that, right? Films do that. Not a bad idea. Right? Some films do that. So like I said, if you have coming, just coming now, I'm doing the Hunger Games Song of Ballads worldwide box office topic. Once George gets on, because George has seen the movie, he's going to kind of give his take live on air, non-spoiler review. Hey, Degrassi, you can say this for every movie, right? Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's see what topic I want to get into now. We got 20 minutes. Let's see what we'll talk now. Okay. Man. Okay. Napoleon. There's a lot of controversy around Napoleon in the movie. Now, I've not seen the movie. Obviously, I have not seen the movie. But there's a lot of controversy around the Napoleon movie, specifically Ridley Scott and historians. Okay. And there's historians who are not happy with this, especially French historians. As in, Napoleon's a French, obviously, it's a part of France's history, French history, right? But it seems like I've not seen the movie, but it seems like nope. It seems it feels like Ridley Scott knows nothing about Napoleon. But he doesn't know much about Napoleon. The other stuff he's told from the history of Napoleon, he kind of took out of his ass. He knows Napoleon was Napoleon knows a ruler, but what is Napoleon? But what do people know Napoleon as too, right? Short, right? Obviously, the Napoleon complex. But it seems like Ridley Scott has really. I guess the thing is, it's a discussion between a biopic, a fictional a fictional movie, and a fictional history movie, and a non-fictional history movie, right? And so a lot of historians are not happy with it. So my opinion with when it comes to when you do movies on biopics, when you do movies that what you say it's not fiction, even when you say it's based on a historic character, but it's not exactly accurate. My point is, my view is try to make it at least accurate as much as possible, please. Please. But it seemed like Ridley Scott, even though it's fiction, I think his is fictional. It seems like Ridley Scott made Napoleon like really, really fictional. And this one quote, yes, exactly, Degrassi. This one quote that really turned me off. It really kind of turned me off from Ridley Scott. He's not taking the criticism very well. He's not taking the criticism very well to his movie. I'm telling you that. He's acting like a pretentious director. He's not taking the criticism very well. Where's that one quote? The French don't even like themselves. Right? Like, what is that? Where I find the whole Ridley Scott. Okay, no, that's not it. That's the whole quote. I'm going to read it. Negative comments from French critics about Napoleon. The French don't even like themselves. Now, that's a stupid quote. The French don't even like themselves. Hey, RJ. That's a really stupid quote to say. Okay? Now, right? To me, biopics always take liberties, like Degrassi says, but I like to see as much as accurate history as I'm sure this historians know more about history than Ridley Scott. Okay? Ridley Scott. Now I don't know how studios, directors, writers, when they write historic movies, I don't know how you get their information from. I don't know if they just read on the internet or textbook or go to the library, rent out a book, take out a book, or maybe just have some historians on set, maybe to help them out. The studio could hire some historians on set to go over what happened, what happens in the past, what event took place 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 100 years ago. They should do that, or they just take out a book at a library or go on the internet. Okay. And I think that's really pretentious on Ridley Scott, because there's a lot of dumb quotes he's been saying in this about this movie. About him not taking criticism very well. There's a lot of them. Let me see. Let me find more. Ridley Scott on shooting secrets where Napoleon cannons fire at the pyramids. I don't know if he did that, but it was a fast way of saying he took Egypt. See. That's disingenuous. That's something. I can see why, but that's something that you should know. You should know, okay? First of all, what Napoleon, what year was Napoleon? His Wikipedia. 1780, 60. Okay, it's possibly. Okay, like seriously, I don't know if he did that, but it's a fast way to talk Egypt. Read and a historian or something like that. Somebody knows the possible historic facts. Somebody knows about the history of Napoleon. Please, it's all you gotta do. Get somebody on set, and it's always for biopics. I don't take liberties, but get somebody on set to at least get the most important facts right. Okay. Now you gotta remember there was this Netflix film or documentary, whatever you want to call it, biopic about Cleopatra, right? Cleopatra, Cleopatra was black. Well, people got offended. I know Degrassi. I'm sorry, I know Degrassi. But people got offended with that, especially people got offensive right? There was offensive to that. The Cleopatra stuff on Netflix, and ironically, you know who worked on that was Will Smith's estranged wife. But like Degrassi, I don't mind taking liberties with film at times, but to make it interesting. But when a director can't take criticism well or like snaps back at criticism, but stuff like that, I don't like that. I don't like that. I just don't like that. That's all. Like, he just sounds like a boomer. And I realize a lot of boomer directors, while most of them are successful, I think a lot of directors these days can't take criticism very well. I don't think they can take criticism very well from critics, even fans. I don't think they can take criticism very well. I personally don't. It's like he views them as attacking him or whatever, right? No. It's how. Oh yeah. I agree, man. I agree. That was and that show. That show got nominated for awards. Blinded. It got nominated for Emmys. Hollywood doesn't care. Hollywood doesn't care, man. Hollywood doesn't care. They don't care about the victims involved. Jeffrey Dahmer show. They don't care about the victims. You know, they don't care about the victims, right? At least with a documentary, you might ask the victims' families if it's okay with them, right? But I think if you're gonna do a show, Taika Waititi, well, his film, the Next Goal Wins is getting torn to shreds, and I have to do the oh man, you know what the worst thing about doing doing a live stream? Let's talk pop. It's going to the bathroom. Well, I'll be back in a couple minutes. I'll see you in a couple minutes. Okay, I'm back. I'm back from the dead. I'm kidding. I'm not back from dead. Yeah, we'll see how this is. Yeah. And now like Degrassi, the Hogan movie with Chris Hemsworth. There's I'm a little worried because Hogan may have influence on it, and he lies a lot. Hey, Blind. Oh, I thought you. I didn't. I'm surprised you're coming on. I'm actually surprised. How are you, man?
Yeah. What's up? Can you hear me? Well,
Yeah, I can hear you.
yeah, I was debating on whether I wanted to come on because tomorrow I have to wake up early. So, but yeah, I just decided to pop in.
That's good. Because did you see Hunger Games?
No.
Okay, so George is going to come in after 8, around 8. He's not going to do a spoiler review. He's just going to give us his take. Even though he uploaded the video, he's just going to give us his take, non-spoiler.
To be honest, I've seen all the Hunger Games movies up until Part 2, and that was because Part 1 was so bad that I just refused to watch that second movie.
I heard Rachel Zegler. I know Rachel Zegler sings in this film. I heard from people that her singing is so much better than Jennifer Lawrence's singing.
Oh man. Yeah, I want George to explain the plot of this because I didn't even know there was like a prequel book.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah,
he'll try to explain it as best of his abilities without spoiling it.
I'm probably not going to watch the movie, to be honest. Like I haven't even watched the Marvels because I'm not interested, to be honest. So
well, I spoiled it already.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can guess what that movie is just by watching the trailer. There's nothing that surprising in it. Yeah.
So yeah, you're like me, right? You want biopics or documentaries to be like real, almost as real as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see what's the point. I mean, because then at that point, you might mislead people, and like, I mean, like there was one thing that I didn't know about Oppenheimer that was in the movie, right? Where I don't remember if it was a senator or somebody like a military guy who was talking about how they were planning to bomb Hiroshima, and none of that was true. So it's like, oh shit, so that was not true. That was just, I mean, you're just trying to show a point, right?
I think most
but it sounds like it would be true. Like I could totally believe like they would do something like that. Oh, we don't bomb this city because fuck, I vacation there. Like I totally believe that, but yeah, that wasn't true.
My point about Napoleon wasn't. It was just basically Ridley Scott being kind of a douche, not taking criticism well from like
that trailer looked really bad in my opinion. I mean, he's getting good reviews, but it just looked too much like the Hollywood movie that you would expect. And honestly, in my opinion, I'm still like sour on the fact that we've never gotten the Stanley. What the hell was I about to say? Oh my god,
Kubrick.
Kubrick. Jesus, I was gonna say Hitchcock. Holy shit, no.
That's
Kubrick was supposed to make a French Revolution movie, and I'm pretty sure it went into production and then they had to stop or something like that. Maybe I'm misremembering. Killer of the which is I mean the topic of that movie I think also probably. The thing is, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if that movie that to me if that was only released in Canada, I think that movie would do better.
I think
because I feel like Americans don't really know a lot of stuff about.
I think that's a turn up. I think that's what a lot of people probably didn't see because they didn't know, or they know it, but they didn't want to see it on screen. Turned away.
I think they didn't know.
Okay.
I had no clue. I mean, right?
Do you think that movie would have been better if it came out like a Thanksgiving weekend? Or
no, no. I don't think that movie would have done well regardless. Oppenheimer did well because it's Christopher Nolan, and they marketed the movie like an action movie.
Barbie helped it,
or a thriller, I should say. But
I mean, Barbie helped push that movie too. The Barbieheimer stuff.
Yeah, but I think looking back on it, we were kind of wrong to say that it wouldn't make a lot of money. But
it was Christopher Nolan, but like some of his movies before that haven't exactly been the greatest.
Yeah, but they also made money. The only one that didn't make money was Tenet, and realistically, it was because of. Well, Tenet is bad in my opinion, but that's not the why it.
No, that's not the reason.
It's because of the pandemic. And Christopher Nolan was stupid. He should have waited because that movie would have done well.
Nobody went to see that movie in theaters.
No, and I still think it's his worst movie.
It's doing very well.
Yeah, where's the Borderlands movie?
That's coming out next year. But
no, Eli Roth. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Eli Roth was working on Thanksgiving, right? Yeah, he worked on Thanksgiving.
They greenlit the sequel, but no Borderlands movie. Oh boy.
I mean, I said like Dune came out this month. It'll probably make the most money. I think the reason they moved it back because they want not maximum. There's no such thing as maximum promotion, but a lot of promotion.
If Dune came out, the Marvels would have made less money.
Oh, I think every movie would have made less money. Marvel's definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Marvels. I'm gonna do a. I have it in my description here. The Marvels and 10.2 in film second domestic weekend, a 78% drop.
Yeah, which is a catastrophe, absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I don't think anybody would have thought that the Marvels would not even finish its domestic run at the same number as the first Captain Marvel's opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even going to make as much domestically than the first movie did in its first weekend. That's fucking insane.
Has there ever been a series? I guess you consider it a series where the first movie makes so much money and they had like this in the second movie.
Yeah.
The sequel has this massive drop.
Well, that does happen, but like the biggest example of that, like a movie that made $1 billion and its sequel made less than that, was Alice in Wonderland, and that's a Disney movie. That's the only example. Yeah, the first one made $1 billion or close to $1 billion, I think.
The second
and
one
The
was
Looking
bad.
Glass bombed. Yeah.
Okay.
So now the Marvels has that title as well.
Because usually it's not surprising where sequel movies do end up making less than sometimes the first movie. So not like, but not to this extent.
Yeah, I thought it was like statistically sequels make less than their predecessor.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I heard you live. I want to get your thoughts on Madame Reb's trailer. I know your thoughts in DMs.
Oh yeah,
I heard them talk about. Go ahead.
I seen the trailer. I mean, like, here's the thing, right? Like, I know some people are like, "Oh yeah, like the cinematography was shit." I thought the cinematography wasn't that bad. I thought it was kind of dynamic. It was interesting, but everything else in it was just horrible. Yeah, the costumes were cheesy and yeah. Apparently the villain is what's his name?
Sims.
Ezekiel.
Who's not really a villain per se in the comics.
I'm not too familiar with him, to be honest, but I mean, I'm not gonna watch this movie, and I don't think this.
Symbiotic Spider-Man.
Say it again.
He looks like a black symbiotic Spider-Man. That's what he looked like in the film.
He looks like a CW Spider-Man. I thought it was gonna be Kane. The costume looked like Kane a little bit with the red and black.
Costume. It was a bad costume.
Yeah, it's a bad costume. This movie's gonna flop. I know it's gonna flop because people are gonna look at this and they're gonna think, "Oh, this is like the movie that we didn't go see." Like the Marvels. Like I don't understand what these executives are thinking, but I don't know. And Sony's releasing 3 movies next year.
That music they used for the trailer, I couldn't stand it.
Yeah, that was annoying. Why are they even bothering with these movies now?
Up. Please, at least Craven looks. The trailer for Craven looked so much better.
Not by much, but yeah. Oh. I mean, I'm not. The only movie I would consider watching is Venom 3.
Yeah.
And that's really it. Everything else, Marvel and DC, they're lucky they're only putting out 1 movie next year. But I think at this point, 2025 is going to be a real test because you put pretty much every single big character in 2025, and there may even be a Spider-Man movie in 2025. So, I mean, like if movies start underperforming and they're not doing well, then I mean, yeah, the genre might have to. They're gonna have to change tides and pick something else.
If they, I don't want this universe to join the MCU personally because it's like.
Personally, I've already said that I was gonna pick and choose. That's why I didn't watch the Marvels because I'm not interested.
The only character I would choose to put in MCU is to me it would be Venom. I'm sorry,
Venom. I think for
them, if you want to bring these characters to the MCU, if you want to try to bring that universe to the MCU, I only bring Venom and Vulture.
Oh right, there was that rumor you were talking about that.
I mean, I wouldn't bring Morbius.
That they're gonna merge. The Sony universe with
I would not bring Morbius.
Why isn't it crazy when the MCU gets really shitty? That's when they decide to do it. Like, if that is true, that's just I don't know. Ah,
There's
man.
no excuse for this. They could make good Spider-Man stuff. There's no excuse. If you
I
could
don't
do
know.
it with
I
Tom
think
Holland, I know MCU.
Sony has the bottom of the barrel when it comes to Spider-Man, and they don't want to like pump out a Spider-Man movie every year. So this is like the best that we got.
Yeah, that rumor could be a Spider-Man account.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't believe that account either. They're Spider-Man. Don't believe that either. We'll see.
Yeah, because that was insanely stupid if that was the case.
That's to me. They're coming out with that. You know why? You know what I believe when they say, "Oh yeah, they're gonna merge this universe and MCU." I'm like, yeah, because you saw a bad the Madam Web trailer, so you're gonna say, "Oh yeah, because these Sony movies can be so bad." You know what? Let's merge them in the MCU. That's the only way they can save them. Like it's a life
Nah.
jacket instead of them
Well,
sinking.
do you want to hear? Do you want to hear a rumor that?
Oh hey George.
I mean, it sounds hilarious as hell, but this is probably
Hey, George.
bullshit.
What?
Oh, George is here. What's up?
Hey,
So
yeah, I'm still riding the high of Hunger Games right now.
oh yeah, cut to
Ah.
blinding. We'll get the George and you do the review on Hunger Games, okay? Because you really want to saw it. But go ahead.
I was saying that there's a rumor going around that's, I mean, probably bullshit, but let's just entertain it. That Marvel can't actually recast Kang because in his contract it says that Jonathan Majors can only play Kang and all versions of Kang. Now, there might be like some morality clauses or something where they could say, well, because he, you know, committed a crime or whatever, they can get out of the contract. But if that is true, which again sounds like bullshit, that would be fucking hilarious. I'm sorry.
He's found
Like
guilty.
that would be that at that point I feel like it's just bad luck for Marvel and everything is just crumbling.
Can you just buy him out?
Say it again?
Can you just buy him out and negotiate something to buy him out?
I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It sounds like bullshit to me. I don't know how that would all work.
Because
I mean, the only thing I could think of is that morality clause. Like, oh yeah, if he does something wrong,
the rumor is like Kang Dynasty might turn into Secret Wars Part 1.
Yeah, which I mean that makes sense. They're gonna have to milk this Secret Wars thing, and honestly, I really think after Secret Wars, like I think honestly, I don't really see the Fantastic Four and X-Men doing all that well. Like they're gonna do well, but it's not gonna be like what it once was. I think people need to understand that. Like the golden age of the MCU is over.
Well,
it'll be around, it'll make money, but it's not gonna be like what it was.
2025, like if Superman Legacy hits and if Batman 2 hits in the same year, and the MCU movies 2025 don't do as well, because there's 4 MCU movies scheduled for 2025. I think one of them will get moved, but I think if they don't do as successful as those 2 movies, that's a really, really bad sign for the MCU. Because people are going to turn a flock to the DC. People are going to go, I'm looking forward to more DC stuff after seeing Superman Legacy. If that's successful, hugely successful. And see what James Gunn has in store, right? Like, but yeah, George. So you only want to saw Hunger Games, Song of Ballad, the prequel. Your floor is yours. Give us your thoughts. Try not to spoil as much as possible, please. Not spoil.
Well, I survived the 10th annual Hunger Games. I'm the real victor. And now the Capitol's gonna go after me because I cheated.
No,
but in all seriousness, I mean, compared to most prequels, I actually thought this one was fairly good. I thought this one actually was pretty respectful to the source material. Unfortunately, that was also kind of a fault because the third part, and this is also for the book because I read the book as well. There's 3 parts to the movie without spoiling it, and it's like the first 2 parts I think were handled very well, but then part 3 of the book and the movie just feels so rushed to the point where I feel like Suzanne Collins, the author, is more at fault here because she probably should have made part 3 its own book, like a 2-part book with this, because this is about President Snow. In part 3, without spoiling that, a lot of stuff goes down involving Snow's character, and it's like it feels kind of rushed for his character arc. So, like, to me, this probably, I'm not saying the book should have been split up into 2. Well, not the book, the movie should have been split up into 2 parts because that was the major issue with Mockingjay. You split a book up that should have been one movie, not two. And it hurt that movie because I like both those movies, but I feel like if you just continued into one movie, it actually would have turned out better and you wouldn't have had some of those long, dragged out scenes just to make a 2-hour movie. Here, I'm not saying the movie should have been 2 parts, but if Suzanne Collins really wanted to cover that stuff deeper into in part 3, she should have just made the book itself 2 parts. I still like the book, but maybe she should have done that, and then you could have maybe you could have done the same thing with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, overall, I'll say like this is definitely way better than Mockingjay parts 1 and 2. Not as good as the first 2 Hunger Games movies. I like that the character was not just another Katniss; like she was actually very different from Katniss.
Mm.
How
I
was
mean,
Rachel Zegler?
there's obviously more singing with this character because she is a singer. But Rachel Zegler actually has a really nice singing voice. I mean, to me, the standouts in this movie besides Rachel Zegler were Viola Davis and
Not surprised.
Josh
Yeah.
Andres Rivera. He plays a character that is Snow's best friend, but he's also very ideologically different from the Capitol and Snow.
I'm not
So
surprised with Viola Davis.
But
She's-
like he was a major surprise as a performance. I mean, Peter Dinklage was still very good as well. But no, Viola Davis, Rachel Zegler, and Josh Andres Rivera were probably the best things about this movie performance-wise. And I mean, it's full of Easter eggs, but here's the thing. I feel like the Easter eggs actually make a lot of sense for the future because this is also early on in the Hunger Games. So they're also establishing stuff that is going to be key for the main books once you get to the Katniss storyline. And it's like, oh, wow, this makes so much sense. It's not just there for fan service. It actually makes sense for the plot going forward because they're also coming up with ideas for the game. Because, I mean, this is not really a spoiler, but one of the things they're doing is they're trying to get more people to watch the Hunger Games. And that's why Snow is mentoring this girl from District 12. So it's also not just about mentoring these tributes and marketing them better, but it's also how do you make the games more interesting instead of just like this small arena? Because this isn't like the other Hunger Games where they're in a forest, there's a lake, there's a big cornucopia, there's killer monkeys and mutts. Like none of that's really in there. There's something that happens at the end of the games, but it's kind of thrown in there as like, well, you would find out why if you watch the movie, but it's not like it was intentionally meant to be in there at first. So, like, yeah, I would say as far as prequels go, this is probably one of the better movie adaptation prequels. Like, I think this is better than any of the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Okay.
As far as, like, if I compare this to the Hobbit movies, I still think The Desolation of Smaug's a pretty good movie. An Unexpected Journey, I still like that movie, but I don't know, I gotta rewatch that movie to kind of measure it. It's better than Battle of the Five Armies. It's better than most of the Star Wars prequel movies. Revenge of the Sith is still my favorite prequel movie.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but like I would say, like overall, it's a solid movie. It's not a huge game changer for the Hunger Games franchise, but I'll say it's better than most of the comic book movies that have come out this year.
Damn, that's crazy.
But I mean, in fairness, like the Hunger Games franchise, at least the first 2, I always thought were great movies. Even though Gary Ross's shaky cam used to drive me, well, not so much the last time. I actually thought his shaky cam compared to most directors' shaky cam was actually worked for that movie. But it's like I feel, but also another noticeable thing is this movie, the lighting of this movie was a lot brighter than the previous 4. Like the other 4 movies had like a much more darker color grade, while this one's a lot brighter. I mean, it's not like annoying or anything, but it's like, oh wow, this is a lot more noticeable. But it's like I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, I wouldn't mind seeing other Hunger Games from other Hunger Games characters, like Woody Harrelson's character Haymitch. I would love to see that character younger and see what his Hunger Games were like, because he had like apparently one of the quarter quells where they had double the contestants and there was a volcano in the arena. And like, even though Haymitch won, the way he won pissed off the Capitol, and Haymitch suffered for it. I'm not going to get into details about it, but I would love to see Suzanne Collins do a book on that and maybe a movie on that as well. Because I feel like
you're giving them ideas. Sounds like it's something they would do.
It's like, the thing is, the Hunger Games lore is lore that I wish they delved more into, but they aren't really utilizing it, which I get it. It doesn't make as much money as Harry Potter, Marvel, and other stuff. But the thing is, there's so much intrigue about this, because like there's been 75 Hunger Games, and we've only really dwelled into the 10th, the 74th, and the 75th. And like, there's other characters that are key later on in the Hunger Games from other districts that have won Hunger Games. It doesn't even have to be like a District 12 thing. I don't know if they will, because this movie isn't making as much as the other Hunger Games movies, which is
it's not.
This is on par with the last movie in terms of opening.
I mean,
or at least domestically.
It's making 100 million worldwide right now.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I think Hunger Games has always been fine domestically. It's worldwide where it's not as huge of a hit, because it was breaking records domestically, the 2012 movie. And I was like, because I didn't understand the box office at first, because I was like, it's worldwide's not good. Why is it saying that it's breaking all these records? But then it's like, oh, domestically it's doing phenomenal. But worldwide, it doesn't have the same popularity that Harry Potter did. Harry Potter was a worldwide sensation, those first 8 movies. I mean, Hunger Games, here's the thing. Hunger Games was very popular for my generation, especially in my school, because we read it in 8th grade. And when Hunger Games came out a year later in 2012, we were freshmen in high school. Everyone was excited, even the teachers. You know, then Catching Fire came out. Even people on the basketball team are talking about
Harry
this.
Potter was over, because Harry Potter ended in 2011.
And the thing is, like, Hunger Games did what I feel like I felt like other franchises have failed to do. They like established the universe so well. The characters, they had great talent for those movies. Even Josh Hutcherson worked as Peeta, and I was worried about that casting, because I only knew Josh Hutcherson from childhood movies like Bridge to Terabithia and Zathura. Like, Jennifer Lawrence was coming off a pretty good performance as Mystique in First Class and an Oscar performance in Winter's Bones. Woody Harrelson, years of experience. Elizabeth Banks, years of experience. Donald Sutherland, many years of experience.
Decades.
Decades. So like, I mean, the thing is, like, I've always enjoyed this franchise. I never really talked much about it until now. And honestly, like, this franchise, I didn't realize other people were as into this franchise, because this has actually helped my channel get back on track after a rocky September and October. So it's like, I feel like, but I also know that, like, people around my age grew up with Hunger Games. Obviously, like, it's not as popular as Harry Potter and Marvel.
Well, they didn't have many books. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like, you know, if there's potential for more books on other Hunger Games, like other prequels. But at the same time, it also tells you that the author cares enough where it's like, if she has a good idea, she'll go for it. But until then, she's not going to phone it in. So I think that also just tells you that the author has a different mindset than most others. So obviously, if she gets the idea, I hope she does do something, whether it's for the character Haymitch or other characters. Like this one character, Finnick from Catching Fire and Mockingjay, he's a great character. He's the youngest to win his Hunger Games. I wish they can do like a movie on that, because it's like, yeah, I would like to see the youngest victor in action. Because also the thing is about the Hunger Games is, even when you win, you don't really win, because the Capitol still owns you technically. And Finnick was one of those scenarios where the Capitol owned him, and it was actually pretty dark, like the way they kind of like what the Capitol had Finnick do afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of fell off once part 1 was like really bad. I didn't even bother watching part 2. Like, I read all the books, but it's been a while. So, yeah, I mean,
it's not that
I kind of want to.
it's not that part one was bad. It's just like not a lot happened. It's like they should just made it one movie.
For me, it was really bad.
Like,
That's why I didn't even bother watching the second one.
Like they should just made it one movie.
Yeah, I agree. That was everybody had that same criticism. It should have just been one movie.
Because
they wanted to milk it.
Well, the thing is, Harry Potter, like, I mean, it made more sense for Harry Potter to be split into two because that was a big book. But it's like, I looked at the Mockingjay book, and it's not that much bigger than Catching Fire. It's shorter than Goblet of Fire or The Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince, which are all one movie. Well, they're each their own movie. So it's like there really was no reason to make
the Hobbit.
Mockingjay. Even the director himself had said, yeah, we should never have done that, but the studio was putting pressure. So that's really a Lionsgate fault because the movies are still well made, but the stories just feel dragged out and boring.
The Hobbit.
Part two.
Yeah, even the Hobbit too. That was like Battle of the Three. What is it? The Five Armies? I forget. The third one.
Yeah.
That one is so bad. Holy crap! I don't even know why they. They should have just kept that as two movies, honestly. If you were gonna do multiple movies,
it should have been two movies at least.
The best thing about Battle of the Five Armies is the song at the end during the credits.
And also too, it should have been Guillermo del Toro who directed, because I don't know. I get it, bringing back Peter Jackson, but. He didn't want to do it.
He can't. Guillermo del Toro couldn't film because he probably left because he couldn't film in Toronto because he doesn't have the scenery for Toronto.
Well, the reason why they didn't let him do it is because it was not connected with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's why.
I think
it was just gonna. No, according to him, it was not. Yeah, it was gonna be. No, there's videos on it. I've watched it and I looked into it.
But the one Peter Jackson is connected to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, once they were forcing Del Toro to make it connected, and then they had like some problem, and they're like, "Oh, Peter Jackson, can you do it?" And he didn't want to.
I think,
and then he kind of just gave in.
Yeah, Jackson didn't want to. I think it's Warner Brothers that wanted it because of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, and those are popular, so why not connect them? They're already connected, so why not connect them? Mm-hmm. I get it, but it's still like. You could just tell, like, that movie, like, the first one was okay. I like the second one. Third one was terrible.
Yeah.
But they still feel soulless. They still feel generic.
I like the first two movies quite a bit, but it's like, if obviously, like, that's junior varsity compared to the getting drafted in the first round Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, that third movie completely put me off to, like, Lord of the Rings, or it's just like I don't even want to see anything Lord of the Rings. I can't even talk. My God, sorry. I don't want to see anything Lord of the Rings related. Just because of that movie, it was just so bad. It was just like, man, I'm telling you, once a franchise has like a really bad movie where it's not even that it's bad in the sense, okay, the filmmaking's bad or the script is bad. It's just it's generic and there's nothing interesting about it. You're just watching shit on the screen. Like I tune out, and that's what's happening with Marvel and DC. I already gave up on DC, but I mean,
there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff in the Hobbit trilogy that were not in the book.
Yeah, well, of course, because they had to pad it out.
Well, the Sauron stuff, some of the Sauron stuff. Like when they go to Dun Guldur and you see the resurrection or whatever, the Necromancer and the Nazguls, that's not in the book. And first of all, the Nazguls are not dead; they can't be buried. I don't know how that was possible in the Hobbit.
Well, there's definitely stuff in the Hobbit where it's like, oh yeah, we got to remind you that hey, Lord of the Rings stuff's gonna happen in the future.
Yeah, I understand why.
I mean, that was in Battle of the Five Armies. Like some of the stuff in Battle of the Five Armies, I was like, okay, you're just
in the books. In the books. You know how in the like when they
here's the thing, I still never read the Hobbit book, but like I know even then like some stuff like you're just throwing that in there to kind of just set up Lord of the Rings. You're like, Lord of the Rings is gonna happen in the future.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Even as a 19-year-old, I knew they were doing that.
Actually,
Battle of the Five Armies.
You know the scene in the first movie, right? The first one, Unexpected Journey, which I liked. When Gandalf was talking to Saruman, Elrond, and and Gladiel, right? Great cast. The cast is great, even though Kate Blanchett and all that. That's great. Christopher Lee, great cast. But when he revealed the blade, right, of the Nazgul, and Elwat's character says, "How's this possible? We buried the Witch King in the Nazgul," and I'm like, no. In the Lord of the Rings universe, in the books, the Nazgul were actually hiding. Were actually hiding during this time until the Master was ready to make orders to, until the Master was ready. So the Nazguls were never buried because they're not technically dead. They can't be buried. So they got that wrong.
Right.
The Necromancer is actually true. That is Sauron. That's correct. But in the books, they don't go to Dol Guldur because Dol Guldur does not take place in The Hobbit. It takes place in a different book that's part of Lord of the Rings universe. So they got that all wrong in the movie, but they had to put it in the movie because of the people who watched Lord of the Rings who didn't watch the book, who didn't read the books, or don't know. Because Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit is not just the whole Lord of the Rings universe. There's other books that tie in.
Right.
There's other books that tie into Lord of the Rings, not just, and before that predates The Hobbit and predates Lord of the Rings. And the show, the Wrath of the Ring from the Amazon, and then they had to change that stuff for that show, but they kind of fill in some of the shoes. But yeah, it's whatever. And because I'll tell you one thing. The end of the five armies when they fought the Nazgul, the orcs, right?
Right.
He fought the leader of the orc and the son, right? Bog and Og, whatever. I forget the first name. The guy with the arm, the guy with the chain arm, whatever he had. Remember, he got cut off, and the other guy, Og, was fighting. I think it was fighting Legolas, right? That's the son, right? That's the son of the one fighting the king of the dwarves, right? That's the son.
Right.
In the books, he doesn't. It's only the son at the end. The father's not around. The father doesn't fight. The father's actually dead.
Mm-hmm.
But they had to build a grudge between the dwarf king and the father, right? So yeah, they had to keep him alive.
I gotta rewatch these movies. I mean, I know they're not the best, but it's like I feel like I need to like rewatch.
The Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings is actually very.
No, Lord of the Rings. I've seen. I rewatched last year. Yeah. I gotta go back and do my annual rewatch of
Lord
that.
Of the Rings,
it's like The Hobbit. I haven't seen in ages.
Lord of the Rings is somewhat accurate to the books. The Hobbit was still a little accurate to the books, but they took more liberties. But for example, the Lord of the Rings, a great example that takes place in the movie, but does not take place in the books, is Saruman's death. You see Saruman's death in the extended edition, right? Right? You don't see it in the non-extended edition, but you see it in the extended edition, right? It's Saruman's death. In the books, he does not die there. He doesn't die there. He gets killed, but he doesn't die there. By getting stabbed, betrayed by Wormtongue, and then falling off, right? He doesn't die there in the books. That's not how he dies. So he took a little bit of liberties in the Lord of the Rings movies, but they took a lot more liberties in the Hobbit movies.
Right.
I understand why, obviously, and they're taking much more liberties in the Amazon series because they kind of have to, because of the permission of what they can use, right? What they can use, what they can't use. But yeah, I want to get into some other stuff.
We're gonna talk about The Last of Us 2 getting remastered.
Yeah, are you surprised?
3-year-old game. No, I'm not surprised.
You don't want to do it because season 2 is starting up soon. Might as well this is no coincidence, guys.
But this is embarrassing, though. I think this actually, man, this is making PlayStation look really fucking bad.
It's not a coincidence, man. This is on purpose because of season 2. That's why.
I know, but calling it a remaster, if they called it like a director's cut, or like a, I mean, this is getting sad. I'm sorry,
guys, to the chat. What if, season 2 and 3 is supposed to be the second game, right? And I'm blind, and you're like, where's the Last of Us 3? What if they don't Last of Us 3 for like 4 or 5 years down the road?
Oh no, I already know. The Last of Us 3 is not coming out. I'm gonna say in the next 5 years. It's not coming out. You think
HBO got pissed?
No, but I think what might end up happening is that
situation.
It's either they will wait so long in between season 1, no, sorry, 2 and 3 of the HBO show, that it might like catch up to the point where, yeah, well, it'll be like 2030, right? And
Oh.
the second game or the third game comes out. Or they may just do the 4th season without the third game because it doesn't really matter,
it's
right?
HBO thing. They might make up
Yeah,
stuff.
the HBO show.
Well,
Yeah,
isn't
because
it-
they're working on
Game of
another
Thrones.
game right now. Naughty Dog has another game that has
Okay.
nothing to do with The Last of Us.
Game
Well,
of
and-
Thrones,
listen,
right?
And guess what the new
Game of
rumor
Thrones.
is? Guess what the new rumor is now? Wolverine is coming
Uncharted?
out in 2025.
Uncharted.
No, Wolverine, the game, the PS5 game.
Oh, Insomniac.
Yeah, so if that's coming out in 2025, then PlayStation, man, this is sad. PlayStation is gonna have a couple of years where there's not really a lot of big games
Oh.
coming out, and
You know,
they still haven't
Maybe.
talked about Ghost of Tsushima 2. So
Oh, I know. Maybe don't do a show on a series. It's not like doesn't have enough story full. I mean,
well,
enough
isn't
story-
the
I
Last
mean, the
of Us-
story is
multiple
kind of
seasons?
done. The
Multiple
story
seasons.
is kind of done according to Neil Druckmann, but we all know there's going to be a third game. You could
Yeah, he
do a
does have
third game.
influence on. He does have. So if they don't get a game done out in time for a third game, you think Neil Druckmann would tell? No, that'll be spoiling. That'll be spoiling.
Well, Neil Druckmann said that he has an outline. So yes, I think that's possible. They would do a 4th season before the third game.
Well, wait,
Yeah.
isn't like the second game so long that they can probably split it into 2 games?
They are doing
Well,
two
that's what they're I mean, they haven't confirmed it yet, but that's
I'm
pretty
telling you.
much what they're
I'm telling you what's
going
gonna happen in season 2. That's when Joel dies. End of season 2.
to
And then season
You
3 is
mean
gonna
the
start-
first episode?
No, not the first
He has to
episode.
die in the first episode.
Does he?
Unless they hold it back. Of course. You didn't play The Last of Us 2? It's
think
literally
they
the
would?
beginning of the game.
But they'll still use them. I think they'll still find a way to use them if you die.
No, there's gonna be flashback sequences in the game.
There's gonna be flashbacks like in the
Yeah.
game, yeah. In the game, he's
Yeah.
in the game as in flashback sequences. Spoilers. But
I
yeah.
wonder- I wonder if that's a plan for the third game. They still have him as flashback.
I don't
There's
even
a-
think Joel's gonna be in the third game, to be honest.
You don't think so? It's really
No.
it's not-
No. I think I think they will continue with Abby's story because, I mean, to be honest, Abby's the only one who has. I'm sorry if this is all spoilers, by the way, but Abby's the only one who has a story to continue with. Ellie's story is kind of. I mean, like, she can get back with Dana. They could do some, but it's like, I don't know what are they gonna do? Are they gonna team up? I think that would be kind of ridiculous to have Ellie and Abby team up. I think that would be really corny.
it's-
They
That's so
hate each other.
predictable.
the actors ever play
Yeah.
Abby, they're like, the actors ever gonna play Abby gonna have a lot of muscle. It's gonna work out. Have like it's gonna be like a bodybuilder.
No, it would be predictable, George, because it doesn't even make sense. It's like, I really hope that's not the case. I would rather, I mean, people would be pissed. I don't think they would do this, but I would much rather have Abby be the protagonist, right? And just, yeah, I mean, like, you change
Well, you're gonna
protagonists in the
piss off
second
a lot
game.
of people who hate
I know,
Abby because of
I know,
she
but that's the thing. Like, if the show makes Abby likable, then people might be more forgiving. But I've always said this. I played the game. I love the game. Probably one of my favorite games of all time. Abby's a good character. I don't care what anybody says. It's people are just hooked up on the fact that, yeah, she kills Joel, but that's kind of the whole point of The Last of Us.
I
Like,
mean,
even in the first game.
and here's the thing: even though I like Joel, let's be real here. If someone killed like one of my loved ones, particularly my
Joel's
my
not a good
father, I would
person.
definitely.
Yeah, Joel is not a good person, definitely.
But like I would definitely do the same thing. Go out for revenge. Let's be real here. I can't blame.
People treat Joel like he's Spider-Man or Batman. It's like, why?
Batman,
Yeah,
Spider-Man would never
there's
do
no
anything
heroes
bad.
and villains. It's just everybody's like trying to survive. That's how it is.
and
Batman,
like,
Super Spider-Man cannot live in that kind of world because the morals would be challenged too. They wouldn't be
Yeah,
able
the
to accept
morals
them-
would be
they wouldn't able to accept-
challenged.
yeah, and they would not be able to live in that kind of environment. Sorry, like
I don't expect part 3 to. If part 3 gets announced by spring, I would be shocked. Because PlayStation has already came out and said that they're not going to announce games more than 2 years in advance. That's why PlayStation hasn't announced a new game in 2 years.
no.
Yeah, the last game that they announced was Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding 2 is not even really a PlayStation game. So that's what I mean. Like I don't know. PlayStation is a mess. I mean, every day we hear something bad about PlayStation behind the scenes. People getting fired. They're closing studios. They're making generic games. I don't know what to say. PlayStation not doing so great. They're lucky that Microsoft is not doing all that great, but Microsoft can
Yeah.
easily come in and swoop in and give us a bunch of better games. And right now, they have a lot more IPs that I'm more interested in. I hope they don't fuck up, Fallout and Elder Scrolls and all of that. But
ever since the PS5 came out, PlayStation with their IPs, with their games, it's been like this ever since the PS5. Because PS4 was PlayStation was dominated with the PS4 with their games.
Yeah, they had games all constantly. I mean, that's why I think this remaster is so like, yeah, we all saw it coming, but it's like Naughty Dog has released 4 remasters. Okay, 4 remasters, and we're 3 years into PS5. That's absolutely bonkers in my opinion.
Well.
And on top of that too, they're working on a new game. They're not working on Part 3. If Part 3 comes out of nowhere, I would be very worried, because that's, to me, sounds like they were rushing that thing out. I would rather them take their time. If this has to be a Red Dead 2 or a GTA 6, that's fine. I mean, they're the top tier developers, right? No one's going to sit down and be like, oh, I know people are begging for GTA 6, but when GTA 6 comes out and everybody's like, oh, it's a 10 out of 10. Who cares if it took 12 years at that point? Everybody's going to say it's the greatest thing on planet Earth. So,
it's going to go crazy when the trailer comes out for that.
Yeah, and that's in a couple of weeks.
The Game Awards. You think they're going to do it at the Game Awards?
I have a feeling, they might do it at the Game Awards. It sounds like it's going to be at the Game Awards.
Why are some people so upset that Hogwarts Legacy is not nominated for any awards? I'm sorry, but it's not.
They haven't played any other game this year. I don't know what to say.
I'm sorry, but it's not one of the best games of the year. I played it.
No, it's not. I mean, I haven't played it. I have a friend who is a big Harry Potter fan, but he hates that game. So.
Starfield got snubbed for Game of the Year, huh?
Because I love Starfield, but there was better games than Starfield.
Yeah.
This year had a lot of good games.
Are you surprised? Zelda, Mario, Spider-Man.
Yeah, people were crying about Mario, but it's like, I played Mario.
Mario
was really good.
Mario gets nominated all the time for Game of the Year. It's like an annual thing. And when Mario game comes out, we got nominated.
But not a 2D one. I don't know when the last time a 2D Mario game got nominated for Game of the Year. That was pretty crazy. It's usually the 3D ones get nominated.
2012 when the Wii U came out, maybe.
No, that game was terrible. There's no way
it
didn't get nominated. Trust me.
I think Zelda Baldur's Gate is going to win it.
I think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to have it on lock. They've been promoting the hell out of that game. I would prefer Zelda to win. I would also prefer Alan Wake to win too, because Alan Wake is really interesting. Like I said, this is what I'm saying. That all those games up there, the only one I would say I don't know why it's there is Resident Evil 4. I feel like if that was the case, why didn't Resident Evil 2 get nominated in 2019? Because back then they were like, "Oh, it's a remake."
Remasters should not count.
Well, it's a remake, but it doesn't change much. I feel like Resident Evil 2 is a remake, but it's such a big change that they should have nominated it.
I think
Resident Evil 2 plays nothing like the original.
I personally think Game of the Year should always be new games, not remakes or remasters.
I agree, depending on what it is. I think Resident Evil 2, that should have been Game of the Year. 2019 was a bad year for games anyway, and they should have nominated that game. Unless, hold on, let me make sure, because I still think that's pretty crazy that game never got nominated.
Degrassi.
Oh man.
I heard it's a fun game, the Robocop game. It's not like I heard people are enjoying that game.
Yeah, I heard that it wasn't. I mean, when we first saw it, it didn't look good. But let me see, Game of the Year 2019.
I don't even know what came out in 2019. Is that
not a lot? Sekiro won. I remember that, but I don't remember the nominees. Oh, get
Pokemon came
no,
out.
Resident Evil 2. Okay, Resident Evil 2 was nominated. Okay, then I'm fine. Then Control was actually nominated. That's surprising to me, but I'm not surprising because
Is that
Alan
what
Wake
he
2
said?
got.
Is that what he said in the game? He shot me in the dick.
No, man. Okay, Resident Evil. Okay, I'm surprised. Now, if they nominated Resident Evil 2, then yeah, Resident Evil 4. That makes sense.
That's actually pretty funny.
And Death Stranding got nominated. That's crazy. That's crazy. And Smash 2 got nominated. Oh boy.
Oh, did you hear about? I don't know. Yeah, like people like Boogie went all crazy for Hogwarts Legacy. And I can't tell me. I'm like Boogie. Who cares
Oh
about you?
man.
I still haven't even played Hogwarts Legacy.
I mean, if you're big on Harry Potter, you might like it, but if you play a lot of open world games, I would say don't even bother playing that game.
I mean,
because
I
it's
like
not good.
I love Harry Potter. I probably will wait until like games down in price more though. Like I'm not gonna rush to get it.
Well, check
Yeah.
sales now because the Black Friday stuff. Is
Well,
on
here's
sale.
the thing. Like the thing is, I'm still playing other games, and my next priority is going to be Tears of the Kingdom because I put that on my Christmas list.
Yeah, play Tears of the Kingdom.
Like I rather prioritize that, and like I'm still playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which I'm having fun playing because I love Dragon Ball
Well, I
Z.
never played that. I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan too, but I never played that.
Oh, I got it even though it was used. But I got it after summer. I used some of my big summer money to purchase that game, and it's pretty fun.
Hmm.
So some of the fight moves can be a bit generic at the beginning, but like honestly, like it's a fun game that you get to revisit like iconic Dragon Ball Z moments. The thing is, and this is actually a problem that I've had with Dragon Ball Z since Dragon Ball Z Kai. I cannot stand Kid Gohan's voice in Dragon Ball Z Kai and now. I'm sorry, I miss the old voice actress. Like, I miss Kid Gohan's old voice. Like, this one is just like, what the heck has happened to your voice? See, this is why I watched the original Funimation dub and not really care much about Dragon Ball Z Kai, even though some of the voice actors have improved. It's just Gohan's voice annoys the hell out of me. Like it just like does, and it's sad because I like other things about Kai, but it's like that's why like I'm buying like the original Dragon Ball Z dub instead of like the Kai. Also, I like the filler episodes. Dragon Ball Z is like the only show where the filler episodes are so good they're almost relevant to the show.
Okay.
Bad.
Where am I? So we're getting Creed 4. It's in the works. Michael B. Jordan's coming back to direct it.
I still haven't seen Creed 3.
I mean, I like Creed 3, but my thing is, what do you do with a Creed 4? I mean, honestly, I feel like Creed 3 is the perfect way to kind of end that franchise.
Do you remember what happened?
Well, they want
to
his daughter. His daughter.
I mean,
yeah,
they
do a time
could,
jump.
I mean, they could do a time jump where he's training the daughter.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, I think that actually might be interesting because she's deaf and stuff, and people are like, "Oh, you could do." I know, like the Rocky and Creed franchise is about boxing, but I'd actually kind of like to see a mixed martial arts movie.
I mean,
Like,
the thing is, the thing I like,
be interesting.
I like about the Creed movies is there's a sense there. Even though I like Rocky 3 and 4, obviously those movies are more goofy.
I love Rocky 3.
Oh, I love Rocky 3 as well.
Pitiful.
That's actually like probably like in the Rocky franchise my third favorite after the original Rocky and Rocky Balboa.
For me, it's Rocky 3 and Rocky Balboa is like the top tier ones.
Yeah, like because like Rocky 3 was my introduction to the Rocky franchise. I watched Rocky 3 not knowing anything about the first two when I like at a movie club that I went to middle school, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so much fun. And then I watched the other Rocky movies. And I like all of them except for Rocky 5.
Rocky 5 is still funny though.
It's funny, but it's like
they told me
it's a bad movie, but it's hilarious though.
It's a hilariously bad movie. But it's like what I like about like the Creed movies is there's obviously a sense of like there's more to it than just like like boxing, like Adonis is going through a lot in each of these movies.
Right.
Talk.
Yeah, it's a lot more serious, a lot more grounded, and I mean,
I remember hearing about that. And I was like, that would have been such a poor way to end the Rocky franchise. Thank goodness for Rocky Balboa.
Well, the thing is, Rocky 5, it's still kind of pointless. It's sort of like meandering, and like it makes him look like a joke. And dude, it's just, and the whole I call it bum fighting in the street at the ending. That shit was hilarious. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, oh man, it reminds. Actually, you know what? that whole bum fight. It reminds me of that the ending of Luke Cage. Like what's up with these bum fights in like movies and shows? Like, please don't do them unless you want to do it as a joke. But it's just ridiculous. Like they're fighting in the street and shit.
No, listen, he's not. Listen, so Sylvester's got beef with the producers.
Yeah,
and also here's the thing: his story ended so well in Creed 2, like him making up with his son and letting Adonis taking all the glory and meeting his grandson. I feel like that's a fitting ending for Rocky.
Yeah.
I think Creed 3. Here's the thing: Creed 3, outside of maybe one part where I think Rocky definitely would have been in it. I'm not going to spoil it, but outside of one part that I know if Rocky in real life would have been there, Rocky was not needed in this movie.
No. Rocky is like
the thing is, Adonis. I think he's a good enough character that he can stand on his own.
He was good at the beginning, like as an inspiration, as you know, like as a trainer, as a role model, inspiration for Creed, for Apollo. He was good for that as an inspiration.
Right.
Now he doesn't need that. Apollo doesn't need that.
No, he doesn't need it. No.
And rest in peace, Burt Young. I still can't believe that Paulie's gone.
Yeah,
he passed away. Yeah.
Go get him, Rocco! No, listen.
That was actually a good impression.
I love the Rocky characters. I love all the Rocky characters. Even some of the villains, except for Tommy Gunn, I like.
Yeah, Tommy Gunn's a fucking terrible.
He's just a
piece of shit.
He's just a troublemaker kid, right?
I mean, listen. Clubber Lang to me is the most entertaining villain. He's like he wanted to start a fight with Apollo. He's like, "Come on, Creed."
No, he's just being an arrogant boxer. Like most of the time, like that's how some boxers are. That's what Clubber Lang was. He was just training, MMA is like that too now. You trash talk your opponents all the time.
Also, it was just crazy how in Creed 2, the scene where Drago is meeting with Rocky, he says so much, way more in that one scene alone than the entirety of Rocky 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they don't run this franchise into the ground because it's Amazon, but
yeah,
they probably will. Another franchise that they're running into the ground is John Wick.
John Wick ended so perfectly. I mean, I'm curious I want to see Ballerina, but at least like Ballerina takes place in between movies.
Right. So they announced a lot. Was it this week or last week? They said that they're working on an anime. Then they have another TV show that they're working on.
Yeah, it's a whole universe.
And then they're considering doing John Wick 5. I'm not surprised that they're doing John Wick 5 because it's like, I mean, I didn't think he was dead. Like, I know that's like a debated thing, but it's like, he's really not dead.
He's immortal.
The way it was set up, it just made it seem like if he dies or he fakes his death, then they're not going to go after him, right? But once they know that he's alive and he walked away, people are always going to hunt him down, right? So that's how I took it.
They need a damn good story then, because
I think you could do a John Wick 5 if it's him going after the high table. That would actually be pretty cool, and you can bring like big name actors to play the table members. Like, imagine it was like John Wick versus Tom Cruise. That would be fucking sick. Yeah, more people who are good at like the stunt choreography, right?
Okay.
Like definitely Tom Cruise. That would be really cool, right? But I mean, I would have to think about
Tom
a bunch
Cruise,
of other
yeah, as a
actors.
villain,
But
because Tom Cruise rarely plays villain roles.
yeah, I mean
That
I
would be
think that would
an
make a lot of
interesting
money.
take.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting take.
Yeah, and it's the one thing that I mean they keep mentioning the high table, but they've never shown it, and we know it's like these powerful people. Like it's pretty much like gangsters, like the head of like gangster groups. So
It could be
I mean that could work, but we'll see.
Oh,
It could be-
Aaron, you saw John Wick Chapter 3, right?
yes.
You saw like Boban Marjanovic was in that movie
Oh yeah.
from
You
the
know,
NBA.
You know what it should be? You know what it should be? It should be Bill from Bill and Ted is the one the high cup.
Oh man, oh man,
Tubular.
that's crazy. Oh man.
I know there's also other John Wick characters out there that technically never got killed off. So it's like if you bring them into the fold as well, it could probably still work.
Yeah, I mean they never really like. I guess it could work. Most people just want to see John Wick. If the ballerina stuff works out and it's a good movie, then I guess. I mean, and also too, like people were saying that they're gonna do a what's his name? Who's in chapter 4 with his daughter? I forget what the actor's name is. What's that guy's name? I'm blanking on his name. And he's blind in John Wick 4. What's his name?
I got fine.
Is Donnie Yen?
Donnie Yen? Yeah,
Donnie
yeah.
Yen. Okay, I was blanking. Yeah, Donnie Yen. Yeah, there all that stuff with his daughter at the ending, and so I don't know. I really don't know about this franchise. I like John Wick. It's cool. I like seeing the action. The story maybe needs to be worked on a little bit, and I still haven't seen the Continental. The Continental just like I heard it wasn't that great, and
It's on Peacock, right? I don't have Peacock, so I can't even watch it.
yeah, for us it's on Amazon Prime, but yeah, I don't know. I'm curious though. Hopefully it's actually decent and they don't milk it and ruin it. An anime would be kind of cool, but it depends on what studio is doing it. If it's on Netflix and it's just some generic studio, then yeah. I'm not interested. Yeah, but the director is supposed to do Ghost of Tsushima. And
yeah. I think that's what he was working on next, wasn't that?
No, he's working on Highlander next with Henry Cavill.
Ghost of Tsushima got greenlit like a month after the game came out.
A week after the game came out, actually. It was insane, the turnaround with that. It was like the game literally just came out and they announced a movie adaptation. I mean, the game is really good, so I'm not surprised.
Berry's almost 60 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. No.
Yeah, and her character in John Wick 3 was just mid. I don't know what was the point of her character. It's just like, here's a female, big actor coming in. It's like, okay, this was totally unnecessary, but they could have done much better. But yeah, John Wick 4 is still the best John Wick in my opinion.
Yeah.
All the John Wick movies are pretty good, but that one is absolutely insane. So, I'm sure most people have watched it though.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. It's probably one of my top 3 favorite movies of the year.
Definitely.
Like
another
good and Across the Spider-Verse and then John Wick.
Another movie that you guys should watch is The Killer. That movie is pretty cool.
Michael Fassbender's made a good movie outside of X-Men this time.
Yeah, with David Fincher. It's based on a comic too. It was really interesting though. I mean, if you kind of like John Wick, the way I saw it was like, if you like David Fincher movies, it's like David Fincher did John Wick. That's how I would describe that movie. So yeah, go check that out. It just came out on Netflix. But yeah.
Wow. Sorry. Yeah, like I didn't think how Berry is like. I thought it was almost 60 years old. God.
Yeah, she's getting up there.
Oh wow.
That's why it's stupid when those rumors were suggesting that they're gonna keep these old X-Men actors in as the new versions of the X-Men. That was just ridiculous. Like, these actors are old. Like They're not gonna. They don't want to do this anymore.
Although Halle Berry still looks great for 57.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I swing with older chicks.
No.
I mean, you see Hugh Jackman's training again for Deadpool, but he's in his 50s, and working out in your 50s is so much harder.
Yo, I mean,
Much
Sylvester
harder on your
Stallone
body.
works out in his
Yeah.
70s.
Who?
Sylvester Stallone works out in his 70s.
Yeah.
Well, for him, Hugh Jackman has to be like lean and like cut, and I don't think that's healthy at all for his age. Like, that must be really bad. Like, because he's got to be. He even has talked about it before. Like, he had to be dehydrated in order to so you could see his like his veins and his abs and stuff. Like, that stuff is not healthy at all. I
It's
think
because
most people don't
also-
know that, but yeah.
Also, it's because some actors, for roles, they have to lose weight, to put on weight, and which is not actually a very healthy thing to do if you keep doing that.
Right.
'Cause
No,
you-
it's not. It's not healthy at all.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what his body fat was, but it looks really low.
especially when you get
Like-
older. Especially when you get older,
Yeah.
right?
So I mean, he's not going to be Wolverine for a long time, or right? It's probably going to be just a couple of years. And even then, it's like they must have paid him a lot of money.
Yeah, because he was content finishing with Logan.
Yeah. And then Disney. I mean, I don't even know. Was this always in the plans? I feel like this is kind of like.
Convincing. I think if it was,
Yeah.
I personally think if Ryan Reynolds was not in the plans, I don't think he would have come back.
Right. Yeah. That's what I think.
I
That's
think
what
it's
I
just them working out something, trying to make into friends and trying to make up for the horrible X-Men origins, that stuff. It's
Well, I think they're making up because one, there's like two big things that we've never seen and that is be in the MCU and be with Deadpool.
dude,
So-
he's gonna be 60s when he's Wolverine.
Another decade? No way. There's no way.
I mean,
no.
Wolverine doesn't. I mean, technically, the character doesn't age, but the actor does.
I would be if he's in the MCU for another decade. It's gonna be he's gonna have gray hair, and you're not gonna see his body. He's gonna be
Oh.
like in a robe or some shit. Like, there's no way they're gonna make this poor old
Hey,
man fucking
I wouldn't
work
be
out
surprised.
consistently.
I
That's
wouldn't be
crazy.
surprised if he was gray hair or something. Old man Logan, why not?
I never even liked when they did that thing in the comic. That was
Hey,
weird to me.
you can have his son Dakin, whatever.
Like, why kill off Wolverine and then be like, oh yeah, here's the old version of Wolverine from that really bizarre fucking comic. It's just like,
Mark Hamill still wants to play Luke Skywalker.
yeah, but he doesn't really have to do much for that.
No,
You can just
No.
show, like I said, that's what I mean. Hugh Jackman will show up in a robe, gray hair. That's exactly what Mark Hamill did.
Hell,
You don't have to work out. You don't have to do shit.
Hell, they can do Star Wars cartoons. He if he wants to voice Luke, he can voice Luke.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Hamill's a pretty good voice actor.
Yeah, some like the Wolverine is a demanding role. That's the point. If people, the thing is, people would make fun of him if he was just like, not a cut Wolverine, because that's the only thing we've seen from Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is that he's cut and lean, which has never really been what Wolverine is, right? He's stocky and kind of big in the comics. So
yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, he's not like the most.
They try to Hollywoodize it, right? Try to make it
Yeah.
look over time, at least, right? Because it's not how he even looked like in the first movie. But I don't know. It's I don't know. I think they should move on. They should, put him in the MCU, do Secret Wars. Like, I'm sure everybody would freak out if you had Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire in the
Of
same
course.
scene. That would be. I think
Big.
everybody would want to see that, because that's something that was going to happen and it never did happen. So it's like,
Yeah, there
I
was a
think that would
time-
be cool.
There was a time when there was a time.
Yeah, they were
when,
filming Spider-Man 1 and they were recorded the cameo,
Yeah,
or
there
he
was
was on set for the
before
cameo and it never got
there
in.
was a time before the MCU that the Spider-Man and X-Men stuff were gonna be their own universe.
Yeah, it was gonna be in the same universe. At least just like a nod or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
remember
I
that.
think people would want to see that. I think it would be cool. I think that's the last thing that people, if I really care about the MCU, like the thing that
I
I'm
mean-
most excited about, it's definitely that.
I mean, look, I can understand maybe Hugh Jackman being Wolverine 1 or 2 times, like Michael Keaton as Batman. But
Right. But even then, Michael Keaton, I'm sure it's not that demanding on him. He doesn't really have to do much. He just has to really stay lean. But Hugh Jackman is like you've seen the pictures of him. He's talked about it before.
dude,
I'm not sure people know what dehydration is. It's not very healthy. A lot of athletes do, a lot of MMA fighters do it. It's probably like that thing could actually kill you, right? And they're just doing it because of the look, right? Because you get really vascular and you look ripped, right? Insanely ripped. But that's not a healthy.
Superman. I mean, you gotta look good for Superman, but you don't have to look extremely ripped for Superman because the character itself.
No, you don't need to.
Yeah,
You don't. I mean,
it's
it
a comic
depends,
book
right?
thing, right? It's a comic book. Also, it's like the comic. You gotta look.
The thing is, Superman doesn't really need to be cut. He
No.
more needs to be big and muscular but
They
somewhat
do that
fit, right?
Some Batman actors do that because they look at the comic book and they see Batman like a Greek god, because the body is a Greek god,
Right.
which, right? Like, he shouldn't really. He should be strong and built and have muscle, but he shouldn't look like a Greek god, Bruce Wayne.
No, I mean, and depends on the actor too, right? So there's so many different
I understand Chris Hemsworth
reasons.
because obviously he's portraying a thunder god, even though technically Thor in real life mythology is not exactly built like that. He's actually fat.
Well, I mean, yeah, not the Marvel version. The Marvel version has always been pretty.
Because it would look ridiculous, right? Nobody would be a fan of Thor in Marvel if he was the actual Thor from the comic. From not comics, from Norse mythology.
From the actual mythology. No, yeah.
It's not.
What was that
I
talking
would
about?
not.
Superman?
If I was Superman, I would not go with this direction.
I mean, to be honest, I think it's an interesting direction.
But I think right now the climate is not right.
Yeah,
That's the only thing.
Yeah,
But I don't think it's going to involve those countries. There's a lot of fictional Middle Eastern countries in DC.
Wakanda, for
That's the thing.
example.
But also, too, someone
Wakanda,
pointed this
who
out.
knows?
Someone pointed this out, which is weird. Did you see the rumor plot for Superman Legacy?
A little bit.
I think who posted it? Was it a non-viewer? Was it a non-viewer? I can't remember who posted it, but it was a credible person, right? Credible in quotes, because I don't trust all these scoopers. But that to me sounds exactly like Black Adam.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's different. Obviously, it's going to be different, and also, if that whole thing about Waller is like running the authorities, that's a really bad idea. I don't like that idea at all. Like the whole point of the authorities is that they left the government. They're an offshoot of the government. They walked away from it.
I agree.
So I don't know if that's true. I don't really like that change. And also, too, it just seems like, why does that need to be in Superman Legacy? Like, it seems like, is Waller gonna appear? And then it's like people are gonna be confused, and do that like a little bit later. You know what I mean? Like do that in the Waller show or Peacemaker, like, and cross them over later. But don't do that in the first movie. I think the Superman Legacy could be really good, or it could just continue this trend of bad DC movies. Or not bad DC movies, but bombs. Like, people are not interested in watching these movies because
here's the thing. People are excited for Authority. I don't think it's a bad idea in the first movie, but could we see a Superman villain that's either than Zod and Lex Luthor?
Well, the rumor is that it's supposed to be Brainiac. In that rumor, they talk about Brainiac is the one who's controlling everything behind the scenes. And
save Brainiac for a bigger thing. Not save Brainiac for Supergirl and Superman. Dude, this is what you do.
To be honest, though, what Superman villain would be marketable for a first Superman movie, though?
Yeah,
I feel like Brainiac's the only one.
But my idea is
and you don't have to kill Brainiac off. Like you can.
My
No,
idea
you don't
is-
have to.
my
When he
idea.
becomes a
Oh,
bigger
that's
threat
true.
later on.
My idea is we're gonna have Superman girl, a Superman movie, right? And we got the writer.
Mhm.
My idea is once we get Supergirl and Superman, maybe do like a Superman Supergirl team up movie to take on Brainiac because it has to do with Krypton and all of that. Maybe the city that they're Argo, right? Argo, I think it is. It's called. Is it Argo? Maybe it's trapped in one of those you know how Brainiac traps cities, right? Maybe like that.
Right.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Brainiac, I did not press my description, but did you see the gameplay for Suicide Squad?
Yes, I did. Reluctantly, but yes, I did.
Your thoughts?
My thoughts is this game is dead and it's gonna bomb, and they literally put it. What company does this, right? Where they literally tell you that if the game fails, expect us to basically take away the game from you because the
Mhm.
game was a bomb. So the fact that they put that in the description makes me think that they know that this game is a flop. The game looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, in some aspects, right? The gameplay and everything, but to me, something about this seems like it's gonna be very bare bones. There's gonna be barely any Justice League members to actually fight. The story's probably not gonna be interesting. It's probably gonna be again another uh, Deus Ex Machina at the ending, where they're gonna either use Flash to reset everything and nobody dies, and something like that's gonna happen. And to be honest, it's a live service game. I'm not that interested in live service games. I don't really like supporting them. So I do want to play it because I like Rocksteady. They make really great games, but at the same time, this doesn't. It doesn't look like even on the level of Arkham Knight, and we had problems with Arkham Knight. So
Yeah.
that says a lot, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's my take on it.
I hope it's not like Avengers.
It is Avengers. That's what that's what I was trying to say. They literally said, "Hey, if the game flops, if the game is not doing well in terms of the live service, then we're going to take away the game."
The problem with Avengers is that game has so much potential to be really, really good. They just have to take some stuff out and not make repetitive missions, the same enemies over and over. And like, there's so much stuff to do.
As someone, listen, I hate Avengers, but I put 100 hours into Avengers. So I know that game like the back of my hand. And that game could have easily been a very good game, but they fucked it up. The whole live service shit where you gotta fight enemies after enemies just to get like loot, and the loot was weird because you have skins, but then you had like gear. It does not work with the Avengers. It makes no sense. And then the story wasn't bad, but they needed a lot more Avengers. Like the fact that you have Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel never shows up. Yeah, you need exactly. There's only besides the DLC in the main story, there was only Abomination, Taskmaster, and what yeah, but MODOK you don't fight all the time. There's his girlfriend, his girlfriend, I forget his name. And somebody else, the robots, I can't remember what it was, the Adaptoids. Yeah, there's like a big version of the Adaptoids. That's really it. And then in the DLC they added the future version of Hulk. I'm forgetting his name. Starts with an M. I forget his name, but they added him, Maestro. And I think that's it. I don't even remember what the bosses were for Black Panther. Maybe the Black Panther was Maestro. I can't even remember. That game was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And they barely supported it, and it barely lasted for 3 years.
You remember how many characters were planning to release? And they're like,
a lot of characters.
Yeah.
All the characters that they had planned got leaked.
Yeah.
We were supposed to get She-Hulk and Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange, and none of those characters happened. All the characters who were actually Avengers, like that had different move sets from the characters that were in the game. Because that was another thing too. A lot of characters were clones of each other. They played the exact same way. Like, who cares about Lady Thor when she plays exactly like Thor, right? Or the fact that Bucky was literally just a reskin of Captain America. Like, it was embarrassing. Like, and
So lazy.
Spider-Man, just lazy. And the thing is, Crystal Dynamic, they actually make good games. You know, I liked, you know, their two rebooted versions of Tomb Raider. They've been always working on Tomb Raider since like the late or mid 2000s. Um, they're actually a good studio. They can actually make good, you know, cinematic games, right? Why would you let them make a live service game? I don't understand. Just make a normal single player Avengers game, or why not make, you know, an expansive co-op brawler game where you can pick any Avengers and you're fighting with each other, kind of like maybe like a Gotham Knights situation. And even Gotham Knights wasn't good. Like, this is, I don't know what to say, but superhero video games are in the toilet. The only people who are making, no, the only studio that is making a decent to good superhero game is Insomniac. Everybody else, it's either their game is good and then, you know, oh, we can't make a sequel, right? Like Eidos when they did the Guardians of the Galaxy game. There's not really much to say. The superhero games are kind of ass right now, and Wonder Woman's not looking too good too, because
No.
they're trying to say that it's a live service game. Then Warner Brothers had to come out and say, no, it's not. But here's the reason why I don't believe them. Because this same studio, their last game had live service elements in it, and they had to take it away because they got backlash for it. So I ain't believing them. I don't believe Warner Brothers at all. Warner Brothers games, they're in the toilet. And it's, listen, it was bad before David Zaslav came on, but now it's going to be worse. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys seen what they're doing with Mortal Kombat 1, but it's a travesty, absolute disaster what they're doing with that game.
No,
Monetizing it to hell and back. Fatalities, you got to pay for fatalities. They had one for Halloween, I think, and I think they had one for Thanksgiving. Absolutely embarrassing. And it's like they're you know, I wanted to play the DLC just because I wanted to play as Homelander and Omni-Man, but they are monetizing the hell out of that game. And they're going to continue with their upcoming games. I can guarantee you they're going to make Hogwarts Legacy 2. That game is going to be monetized because they're already working on that game as we speak. It's going to be monetized. It's going to have all these fucking microtransactions, these skins, and all the, or maybe even a battle pass. That's how bold these companies are getting. I even heard what company was doing this. This is going to blow your fucking mind. What company was about to do this? I want to say Activision, but I don't think it was Activision. And it was not EA. But let's just say it was Activision. This is insane. So what they wanted to do was they wanted to start charging people per hour to play games.
What the hell? What?
Yes.
Rental?
Like it's a rental, or you're it's like, hey, you're, you know, you got to pay every time you play this free to play game or whatever game it was. Absolutely insanity. What are they thinking? They're on the decline. They're on the decline. Seriously, they're going to kill. And that's the reason why the head of Rocksteady, I was going to say Rockstar, Rocksteady, they left. They dipped. They dipped as soon as before the game came out because they knew the Suicide Squad game, they can't save that. They can't save it. James, yeah, I have no faith. Listen, we already had no faith in what James Gunn was talking about in terms of DC video games, the whole connective. Now, I would say forget it. No one should be excited. You could be excited. You know, that's just my opinion. I'm being exaggerative, but honestly, I would not get even a tiny bit excited if they start announcing DC games that were connected, because the company doesn't care. And we already heard rumors that they were trying to sell off their studios, which at this point, do it. If Microsoft needs to buy up NetherRealms, or PlayStation gets Rocksteady and WB Montreal turns into something else, go ahead, because this company, they don't care anymore. They said it. They flat out told everybody that they're focusing on live service games, which is a death nail. That's why I say PlayStation is dying, because PlayStation said the exact same thing. And when these companies say this stuff about live service games, it's not the same like with these movies. Live service games, only 1% of them turn into mega hits like Fortnite or Apex Legends. So
Yeah.
I can't wait until they wake up and realize that this is not going to work. Because then at that point, maybe we'll get a variety of games, not, single player, multiplayer, and maybe even decent live service games because they're not banking on 10 of them to all be successful, like PlayStation. 10 live services in 1 year, and you think they're all going to be profitable? Come on.
No.
It's an absolute joke. Yeah. Man, we're lucky, though, that there's actually good games coming out. Because if there wasn't, holy shit. But yeah, that ends my rant. That was a long ass rant.
It's okay.
But yeah.
We're gonna end the stream anyways. But we're almost 2 hours in, so
Okay.
I'm gonna end it here, guys. So I'm gonna let you guys promote. First, this is show's getting a little bit more frequent now because stuff is back on. Right? There's a lot more stuff coming out now since the strikes are over. So yeah, expect the show to be a little more frequent again. Yeah, I don't know what my next show is, but expect something this week, and expect something not to be a Let's Talk episode. Something like I do, random, like I did the past 2 days with the Spider-Verse stuff, the Madam Reb stuff, the Supergirl stuff. Those weren't exactly Let's Talk Pop stuff, but I might do something like that again. And I'm gonna leave it to Blinded and George to promote the stuff. Go ahead, Blinded. Anything to promote?
Well, I don't have anything to promote. Everything's sort of on hiatus for me. I'm dealing with some personal stuff, so. And right now, my co-hosts for Controller Chronicles, they're also dealing with some stuff, so we'll have to see. Yeah, George can go though.
You can find me at the George. I will finish the Hunger Games review series this Thanksgiving break with one video on both parts of Mockingjay. Christmas is coming up, so I think I'm going to do some Christmas reviews for once. And with Wonka coming out, I decided I'm going to review the original Willy Wonka and the 2005 remake for a little bit of some fun. And yeah, please subscribe because my channel's starting to climb back up again after a rough couple months. Hunger Games, I guess, solved that. The odds were in my favor by doing this review series.
The puns.
But yeah, no, I'm 12 subscribers away from getting to 150. So
nice.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I was losing a few, and then all of a sudden I was climbing right back up.
Awesome. Yep. So thank you all for listening. Like, share, subscribe, comment below, do all that, and take care, guys.
Peace.